The Man with Hazel Green Eyes Part 1. The train ride. The train thundered forward, cutting across the quiet evening fields. Inside, warm yellow lamps swung gently as passengers swayed with the motion. She pressed her forehead against the cool glass of the window, watching the last light of day sink into the horizon. Her name was Isla, and tonight was supposed to be the beginning of her new life. The next stop would take her closer to the city, where her wedding awaited. Her parents had spent months preparing. Her fiancé was waiting with eager certainty. Everything was set, and yet, she couldn't shake the strange heaviness in her chest. She exhaled and closed her eyes, listening to the rhythm of the train wheels. But then she felt it. A stare. Her eyes flew open, and across the narrow aisle sat a man unlike anyone she had ever seen. He leaned back casually, but his gaze was piercing, unwavering. His hazel green eyes glowed under the dim light, like autumn leaves caught in sunlight. Alive and unreadable. Something inside her shifted. For a heartbeat, the world narrowed. The chatter of passengers faded. Even the rumble of the train quieted into a strange, rhythmic beat, low and insistent, as if it pulsed from somewhere deeper than the earth itself. She blinked and looked away, her cheeks burning. This was madness. She was a bride to be. She had no business feeling drawn to a stranger. And yet, she felt it again, that strange magnetic pull. When she dared another glance, he was still watching her, a faint half-smile tugging at his lips. "Are you all right?" the man asked, his voice deep, carrying oddly well over the noise of the train. Isla's heart skipped. "Why, yes, just tired." He tilted his head, as though he didn't believe her, but he said nothing more, only turning his gaze back to the window. Still, she felt him there. The beat followed her, louder now, like a second heartbeat entwined with her own. The mist wetting the days blurred after that. Isla reached the city, met her family, and tried to silence the memory of hazel green eyes. But fate was cruel. Her wedding never happened. At the last moment, secrets unraveled. Her fiancé had betrayed her trust. She stood in her bridal dress, veiled trembling in her hands, as whispers filled the room and her future collapsed. But through the humiliation, through the pain, there was one image that returned again and again. That man on the train. His eyes, his silence, his unshakable presence. It should have ended there. A strange encounter, a memory fading with time. It didn't single quotes T. Nights grew heavy with dreams of the train, of the beat that never stopped, of those eyes watching her from shadows. Sometimes, she would wake gasping, sure she had heard footsteps outside her window. And then she saw him. Weeks after her broken wedding, she walked through a crowded market. Among the strangers, she froze because there he was, standing at the far end of the street. The same man, the same eyes, no smile this time, only a stare that pierced through the noise, through the distance, straight into her. Her hands trembled. She blinked, and he was gone. But Ayla knew he hadn't left. He would never leave. Marriage and shadows. Time pushed her forward. Isla eventually remarried. Her new husband Rayan was kind, patient, and everything she should have wanted. He tried to build a life with her, one of laughter, one of safety, but something always stood between them. Every time Rayan held her, she felt the shadow of another. When he kissed her, she tasted distance. The man with hazel green eyes would not let her go. One night, Rayan noticed her flinch when he touched her shoulder. He pulled back, searching her face. "Isla," he said softly, "what are you afraid of?" Her lips trembled. She wanted to lie, but the truth spilled out. "There's someone who won't leave me." His eyes darkened. "Who? I don't know. I don't understand. I met him once on a train. Just once, but he's everywhere. In my dreams, in the shadows, even now, I feel him watching me." Silence fell. Rayan's jaw tightened, but he reached for her hand. "Then we'll find him," he said firmly. "Whatever this is, whatever hold he has on you, we'll break it, together." For the first time, Isla felt hope, but deep down, she knew it wouldn't be that simple. Whispers in the dark. The house grew quieter as nights passed, but Isla felt anything but peace. Shadows lingered too long in corners. Mirrors reflected more than they should. And sometimes, just before sleep, she swore she heard a whisper close to her ear. One evening, as rain hammered against the windows, she jolted awake. The sound of the train's beat throbbed inside her chest, impossible to ignore. And there at the edge of her bed stood the man, hazel green eyes glowing in the dark. Ayla gasped, clutching the blanket. "You're not real. You can't be here." But he only smiled faintly. "You remember me," he said, his voice calm, almost tender. "You always will." The words wrapped around her like chains. Rayan stirred beside her, sitting up, but when he turned on the lamp, the man was gone. Only Ayla's trembling breath remained. The confrontation. The next morning, Isla sat across from Rayan at the kitchen table, her tea untouched. "I saw him," she whispered. "Last night, he was here, in this room." Rayhan set down his cup slowly. "Then it's not just in your head." His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed unease. "Tell me exactly what happened." She recounted every detail. The whisper, the gaze, the certainty that he was real. Rayhan leaned forward. "If he's haunting you, there must be a reason. People don't just linger without purpose." "Isla, I need to know, did something happen on that train?" "Did you speak to him?" "Barely," she admitted, but his eyes, it was like he knew me, like he had always known me. Rayan took her hand firmly. Then we'll find out who he is, and why he won't let you go. The search days turned into weeks as Rayan began to investigate. He traced the train line, spoke to conductors, checked passenger records. But nothing surfaced. No man with hazel green eyes. It was as if he had never existed. One night, Rayan returned late, rain dripping from his coat. Isla, he said gravely, I think this is more than chance. I spoke to an old station master. He told me about a man who died on that line years ago. In a train accident. Her heart lurched. What did he say? He said the man was young, unmarried. They never recovered his body. But here's the thing. Isla Hugh was last seen with hazel green eyes. Isla froze, her teacup slipping from her hand and shattering on the floor. The past revealed that night. The dreams grew sharper. She was back on the train, the beat louder, suffocating. Across from her sat the man, alive, whole, smiling. You were supposed to remember, he said gently. You promised me. I don't understand, she cried. Who are you? Don't you see? His eyes softened. Once, long ago, you loved me. Before this life, before Rayan, we were bound. But I died too soon, and now I can't let go. Her chest tightened. A past life, a bond unbroken. The truth carved itself into her soul like fire. When she awoke, Rayan held her close as she wept. He was mine, she whispered. Before this life, he was mine. And he won't release me. Rayan's arms tightened protectively. Then we'll make him release you. The ritual, with help from an old mystic Rayan found near the station town. They prepared a ritual of release. Candles flickered, incense filled the air. And Ayla sat trembling inside a circle drawn with salt and ash. You must face him, the mystic said. You must tell him the truth he doesn't want to hear. The air grew heavy, and then he appeared. The man with hazel green eyes stepped into the circle. His form half shadow, half light. Isla, he said, almost pleading. Don't send me away. You promised. You were mine. Tears streaked down her cheeks. I was yours once, but not now. Not in this life. You're holding me prisoner. You're keeping me from love, from peace. His face twisted in anguish. I waited. I searched. I found you again. Don't let me go. Her voice broke. You're already gone. You died, and I'm alive. You have to let me live. The final release. The beat grew louder, rattling the walls, shaking the earth beneath them. The candles nearly blew out. The man fell to his knees, his eyes burning with grief. I only wanted to love you. And you did, she whispered. But love that clings becomes a cage. Set me free, and set yourself free too. For a long moment, he stared at her. Then slowly, the pain in his eyes softened into peace. The beat began to fade. His outline blurred, dissolving into light. I'll wait for you, his voice murmured as he vanished. When it's your time, I'll be there. And then silence. Part 10. Pasola collapsed into Rayan's arms, sobbing. For the first time in years, her chest felt light. The shadow was gone. The house felt warm again. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, Isla learned how to breathe without the echo of another heartbeat. She looked at Rayan differently now, not as a man competing with a ghost, but as her true partner, the one who chose to fight beside her. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Rayan kissed her temple. You're free now, he whispered. Isla smiled softly, though her heart still ached for the man with hazel green eyes. Yes, she said, but I'll never forget him. And somewhere, perhaps in another time, another world, those eyes waited, watching with love, but no longer in chains. Epilogue. The last dream. Years later. Long after the fear had faded, Isla boarded a train again. The same rhythmic beat echoed beneath her feet, but this time it didn't scare her. She sat by the window, watching the fields pass in golden light. For a moment, her reflection shifted. Across from her sat a man, hazel green eyes, warm and gentle, no longer filled with longing, only peace. He smiled once, as if to say thank you, and then he was gone. Isla closed her eyes, her hand resting over her heart. She had chosen life, chosen love, chosen freedom. Yet she knew when her own final journey came, those eyes would be waiting, not to haunt her, but to welcome her home. The train rolled on, carrying her toward the life she was meant to live. The end.